A Chinese company has agreed in principle to buy British Steel for £70 million. The deal with the Jingye group could save 4,000 jobs and British Steel's main Scunthorpe plant in the northeast of England. The company went into liquidation in May. Its previous owners had pulled out, saying worries about Brexit had actually severely reduced its orders. Well, we've got Cornelia Meyer with us, who's Chief Executive of MRL Corporation. It's a business consultancy, but a real expert when it comes to energy, having worked for BP in the past. So many might be breathing a sigh of relief. It's an agreement in principle. They've still got to do the legalities. They've got to dot the I's, cross the T's, haven't they? But this looks like British Steel could be rescued.
I think it looks like it could be rescued. And the price, you know, when you have these turnaround jobs, a lot of it is how expensive is the company to acquire. And 70 million for a company like British Steel is nothing. So it's easy.
It's not much money at all.
It's easy to actually make money on something that you had so little to invest in. But it's not easy because Brexit is not going away. The global economy is slowing, which is not good for steel. So they have their work cut out for them. And, you know, it's not just 4,000 jobs, it's the 20,000 jobs in the supply chain as well. So all in all, it's 24,000 jobs. The company has said they will need to do some cost cutting. You know, some jobs will have to go.
What do we know about Jingye Group? This is the Chinese company. It operates in steel already, but also in things like hotel and leisure.
There's a nice conglomerate, you know, it's a conglomerate thing. They do hotels, they do tourism, they do property. Property makes sense because for hotels you need steel, right? But they are quite big. They are, according to their website, they are number 217 of the amongst the 500 largest companies in China. So they have a certain
So once
standing.
again, China snapping up an asset in Europe. They're looking to this company, British Steel, to enable them to, produce steel in the UK, get it into Europe, etc., etc.
Well, they will be faced with Brexit as well. But this Chinese theme is interesting because there was a very big thing, which was Syngenta, you know, the agricultural chemicals product, and that was also that acquisition there were a lot of promises made, and then things changed, and a few of the promises that were made were kept, right?
But the irony about this particular story, with it being British Steel, is China is one
they
of...
were the ones dumping steel on everybody.
Well, they're accused by the United States and the European Union of actually completely skewing the international steel market by dumping really cheap steel everywhere, which is why companies like British Steel and others have had such a tough time.
Yeah, well, this is one of the reasons they had such a tough time. They also had some other problems, but this is one of the reasons. So they're now the beneficiaries of the market they created.
If we look online again, you can see Scunthorpe in the northeast of England, which is the main British Steel plant. And you can see in this image here just how large the British Steel site is next to the town of Scunthorpe. For many in this area, I mean, this is the main employer.
It is the main employer. And you know, if you go to let's say Pennsylvania, which is also in the US, which is also a big steel producing thing, these things are the main employers. And in the 60s, 50s and 60s, they made those places to be roaring.
It's the backbone of the community.
Yeah,
isn't it?
and now it's all changed. But the one thing I would say, you know, beware of promises made, because sometimes things change.
We shall keep an eye for sure. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Cornelia's back later for